All for coming tonight. I appreciate it. Senator, good to see you. It is always great to be back here. Good to be in New Hampshire. America's most famous political teenager is here tonight as well. Quinn, welcome back. This guy, let me tell you something. I am making as one of my goals in this race is not only to be the Republican nominee, not only to be elected President of the United States when we beat Joe Biden, but is also to make Quinn the most famous political teenager in America. And we are getting there. Did you hear me mention you yesterday? Face the Nation? Oh, okay. Go look. I did. I talked about you yesterday too, Quinn. I'm killing it for you. Your name ID is going to be, as good as Vivek's pretty soon. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it very much. Mary Pat is with me. Mary Pat, did you say hello to everybody yet? Say hi to everybody. Every time I come up here, someone says to me, why are you running? Or a reporter comes to me, and I see Josh back there from Business Week, who just interviewed me down in another place that I was doing a little business roundtable outside Bedford. And he said to me, I can't find a pollster in America who says you're going to win. And I'm like, great, good. Nice to meet you, too. But what I say to everybody is something that's very simple. They asked me why I got into this race. The first reason is because I can't stand by and allow Joe Biden to be president of the United States for a minute past the 4 years he's already got. And look, just think about some of the things that have happened in the last 4 years. Runaway inflation. Everything now is 17% more than it was the day he took the oath of office. And all of us feel it. Wages have gone up 6%. Costs have gone up 17%. And he did it. It was his doing. The runaway spending, and there were Democratic economists like Larry Summers who were telling him at the time, don't do any more spending. It's going to cause inflation. Now, Larry Summers was Secretary of the Treasury under Bill Clinton. This is not a conservative. This is somebody who, even for him, this spending was outrageous. And it was and is. Then, soon after he was elected president, he decided to pull us out of Afghanistan. And when he did it in such an incompetent way that it not only costs over 12 and a half of our soldiers their lives, but also left Americans in Afghanistan, which he said he wouldn't leave any behind. He did, still has. And Afghans who had been our allies since 9/11. Left them there too. What do you think the Taliban is doing to those guys and women who were known allies of the United States? And he left them there. And it's really damaged our reputation with other folks around the world, that that's the way we treated not only our own people, but folks from another country who stood with us in the war against terrorism after 9/11. He now wants to have all of us repay other people's student loans. Now, as somebody who repaid my own student loans, I have to tell you, that offends me, having repaid my own student loans, and I believe it offends a lot of other Americans who never took student loans, either because they didn't choose to go to college or they went in another direction with their careers. And now we're expected to pay for someone else's student loans. Look, I'm grateful for the student loan program. I would not have been able to go to college or law school without it. My family didn't have the money to pay for me to do it. But I took on that debt, and then I was such a catch that Mary Pat took on the debt with me. It's hard to believe now, looking at me at 60 years old. But back then, when I was 23, an incredible catch. Even coming in with a negative balance sheet, she was willing to, and as a Wall Street person, she knew how to read that balance sheet. And she still hung in there with me. And it took us 10 years to repay those loans. It was our first mortgage. We couldn't get a house until we repaid those loans. But when we did, I remember us repaying those loans and going out and celebrating that we had accomplished something. We owned those 2 degrees of mine, that undergraduate degree and that law degree. We owned them. We had worked for them. And we were grateful to the taxpayers of the United States who gave us the opportunity to do that. But now Joe Biden thinks so we should just pay everybody's loans for them. It's wrong. It's going to add to inflation. But worse yet, it's going to set an awful example for young people who believe that you're entitled to something. We want to give you opportunity. That's what you're entitled to. You're entitled to an opportunity, but not a free one. And now he looks out on another 4 years as somebody who failed us at the most fundamental thing, which is bringing this country together. You remember when he was campaigning, he promised that he was going to bring the country together, that he was going to govern in the middle and bring people together. And instead what he did was run as far to the left as he possibly could on every issue for the left wing of his party. And he's divided the country even further. He's lied to us. And his family is now joining what's becoming a disturbing national trend of being on the grift at our expense. Hunter Biden off, working with foreign governments and selling access to his father. And God knows what involvement Joe Biden had in all of that during some of these times. But I think we're beginning to find out. This is not what being president is supposed to be about. It's not a money-making operation. It's service to your country. And he's doing that too. And the last thing, let me say this. As someone who, I saw a picture earlier today, I don't know if you saw this one at the round table, but a woman who had been with us in 2016 came and showed me a picture of me with her, and I don't know who that young guy was with her. She says it was me, but I'm not completely sure. We're all getting older. It is no shame. It is the natural evolution of life. But, Joe Biden is past his sell-by date. Everybody, you got no business being president of the United States at 80 years old. I'm sorry. If there are 80-year-olds in here, I hope to be you someday. And I hope that what I'm doing then is being a good husband, a good father still, hopefully a good grandfather, and that I'm enjoying my life and doing whatever it is I want to do. But it shouldn't include being president of the United States. And if you watched him last week fall asleep in the Oval Office while the president of Israel was speaking to him, and all the cameras were there, how the hell do you fall asleep then? I mean, look, he's just not up to it. And if he's not up to it at 80, what is he going to be like at 86? Well, guess what? Guess what? He was the guy sitting in that chair, and he was the guy representing our country and falling asleep in front of the president of Israel. And so you are certainly right about the fact that there are people on his staff who are basically doing the day-to-day operations of the White House because he only works a few hours a day. And when he does, we don't know how well he's working. But that is all reasons why I got into this race, because we cannot have him be president again.